Hi, I'm Tony Grindberg, and I'm running for re-election to the Fargo City Commission. I've had a long-standing history of public service in my career, both as a former lawmaker and serving in the legislature, and also involvement in many aspects of the community and the work that I've done in economic development. So I'm running to bring my skills to keep Fargo moving forward in the areas of public safety, revitalization of our neighborhoods, core neighborhoods, as well as sound infrastructure, flood protection, and job creation. I am not opposed to adding seats, but I think fundamentally, as you know, that was part of a task force on election reform. You know, Fargo has a very sound form of government now, the city of Fargo. We have great employees, and we have a home rule charter that empowers the mayor to be the CEO of the city with 4 city commissioners. And if we're going to have a discussion about adding commissioners, what are our goals? Is it a reform of the home rule charter by adding commissioners and more additional work responsibility? And what are the citizens, what are the goals of adding 2 commissioners versus just for the sake of adding 2? So my answer to that would be, I'm not opposed to it, but we have to be thoughtful and process and what are we trying to achieve with that, and ultimately that would have to be put in front of the voters. It works in many of the counties in North Dakota. And so with this election in June, obviously because of COVID-19, it's going to be all mail in. And I think the main thing is the registration of voters and the communication, particularly for this election, so people understand what the form means. There's been some confusion about the various boxes, but I think people will become accustomed to this. And I think in the end of the day, it's going to be an example in Cass County, how it's worked in other counties in the state, so it could very well become a new norm. Traditionally, well, for the last, many years, it's been June with the primary election for city races, city commission, an example, and mayor's race. In the past, it used to be a special election in April. And as you might recall, that decision was made to just move that to June to save some expense. You know, whether it's June or whether it's November, you know, the other option would be November in the general election. Then it's going to even be further down the ballot because there's more races statewide, you know, whether it's a presidential year or the governor primary. You know, I think it's 6 1, half dozen the other. I think it serves its purpose with June, but it could also work in November. I personally believe that elected to the city commission, you represent the entire city. I don't favor wards, and here's why. As the current structure in our home rule charter, each of us is assigned portfolios. And so the portfolio that I have and lead is the planning department. My concern then is planning and issues across the entire city, and not just focused on an issue and a ward. So I think, you know, from a standpoint of looking at the city at large and dealing with those in a portfolio approach works for us very well. And so I would not be in favor of wards because it tends to create more, from what I've read, you know, wards competing against one another. And I don't think that's good for Fargo long term. Well, I have a Facebook page, and it's Grindberg for Fargo, and I have a lot of my bio and background there, as well as the City of Fargo website. There's a bio on the City Commission website, and you know, I typically use Facebook for key things that are going on in the community to share. A lot of COVID-19 information has been shared in the past, and of course my re-election efforts, the endorsements I received, my positions, which are, you know, public safety, revitalizing core neighborhoods, infrastructure, and growth. And so those are the 2 areas that you can learn more about me. It's Facebook and or the bio on the City Commission webpage.